I'm Tommy D from the KnicksBlog.com. It's time to talk more NBA draft, and there is no one who I enjoy talking basketball and draft in general, specifically rather, than my good friend Ryan Blake. Ryan, thanks for joining me over the phone.
Hey, thanks for having me, Tommy. I appreciate it.
I hope you're well. Got a chance to see each other down at Portsmouth, and let's focus specifically on some guys that could be at the range of 48 where the Knicks draft, assuming they don't move up. One guy who performed well at Portsmouth is Kim English from Missouri, a guy who would fit a really nice need for the Knicks, specifically playing off Carmelo Anthony.
Man, I loved it. He came in and he was on fire down at Portsmouth. He came right up to me. He goes, "Mr. Blake, man, I need to make sure that my position on the roster for the public is not going to be small forward. I am a guard. I play this guard spot. I am not a small forward." And he went out and he really performed well. I mean, he's an energized bunny. I mean, he can shoot. He's athletic. He's not selfish, but he has that go-to mentality. Can pass it. Really likes to compete and wants to win. And he plays both ends of the floor. I really like this kid. And he's one of my, I wouldn't call a sleeper, one of those guys that, regardless of where he gets drafted, is going to, can become that rotational player.
Two guys, and one guy that I've seen a lot of and really impressed me down there, just from a physicality standpoint. He's a little short for a two-guard or a small forward, but he's built like a power forward. That's Raheem Sanders from Fairfield, and I thought that he had a really good week down there. What were your thoughts on Sanders from Fairfield?
Yeah, I mean, you're picking out my guys, really. Raheem Sanders just came in and did all the dirty work and was able to show a lot on the offensive end. Again, he's 6'5", about 230. I mean, built strong, plays bigger than his size, goes in there and rebounds like a power forward, and moves like a two-guard. And when you need a utility player, when you need a player that can go out there and make others better, you got to remember that whoever gets in this draft, whether you're picked in the lottery, you're not going to be but a fifth option, and you've got to earn those minutes defensively. He can earn that defensively. He'll energize his teammates, but he does all the other stuff, setting the screens, getting inside for the rebounds, running the court, creating opportunities for others. And that's what he can do. And there's always a spot for a player like this on a team.
He doesn't fit an exact need for the Knicks in terms of, up front they need guys who can knock down shots from the perimeter, but he really reminds me of an old-school Knick physical player, and I think he would look good in a Knicks uniform.
Yeah, toughness. Toughness
Sure.
is important, and sometimes that's communicable. It's like that. You rally around. There's players always. We have the error that a lot of people think that there's only five spots on a team, 5 positions, and there's more than that. And a GM will look at their roster and dissect it into many spots, and his position, which is not really a position but an NBA skill set that he has, can help a team.
When I first sat down, the first game I watched, this guy literally came jumping at me based on his athleticism at 6'10 or 6'11. Talk to me about how much Mitch Watt from Buffalo has raised his stock thanks to his performance down in Virginia.
Wow, yeah, this kid came in, not unknown, but, we brought him in. He's long, he's athletic, he can spread the floor, he's got great hands, a good feel for the game. He had an injury before that kind of left him out some time, and he came back in, really worked hard, and I mean he developed so much this year, and the most important thing he developed was confidence, and it showed down in Portsmouth too, because you're going up against a lot of good bigs and a lot of good players, and he came out and he excelled, and his confidence rose, and he sort of told himself, I can do this, and I can do this better than most other people. And, his name's probably not on the board, another one of those sleepers that, as long as he is, and the versatility that he adds can also, sort of add to a team. You can't teach size, but versatility, is ingrained, and you work on that, and he's really got a lot of those strengths. And his ability to play defense is what's going to earn him some minutes if he makes a team.
I agree on Watt. I think he has a place in this league. We'll talk about a couple of Big East guys lastly. Certainly, let's move into the first round and talking about a guy like Dion Waiters, who I think has a lot of Chauncey Billups type qualities, who could play off a good post player and really be an impact guard from the perimeter early on in his career.
Yeah, Waiters, our sixth man of the year in the Big East, averaged around 13 points, NCAA Elite Eight team. Great ball handler, good ball handler, could score off drives from outside, powerful finisher, and really attacks the basket. He's confident to play both guard spots, sort of a poor man's Dwayne Wade type of game. Although long, he doesn't have that extraordinary leaping ability, but a terrific athlete and explosive. I think our main concern with him would probably be consistency from deep, an average size for two guard. But, he plays that position well. And we do have the questions of, on defense and the intensity of defense. But, he didn't come to play in our combine, which was interesting. Another either posturing stance or somewhat quote-unquote guarantee. I think you risk your chance, especially when you don't get any testing done in terms of not even medical testing. And sometimes guys won't take that pick when we've had other examples of guys in the past that didn't do the same and never panned out.
The one thing that stood out to me, Ryan, when I got down to Portsmouth is the Marquette guys. Jimmy Butler last year, Wes Matthews certainly. We know about Jay Crowder. I think he's a pretty good lock there. But there's a guy who's been in this kind of tweener mold, and the critics are going to say that he's a tweener. But Darius Johnson-Odom could be around at 48 for the Knicks. Just give me your thoughts on him as a player, and is he maybe getting that Kenneth Faried treatment of, don't judge a book by its cover?
Yeah, I think so. With Crowder, Matthews, all those guys, they seem to have this real toughness to them, and that's important. And when you got a guy that can be that utility type of player that can rebound, score, pass, versatility. He may not be your go-to guy, but when you get someone like that, that's inexpensive and can make a difference. I mean, look what Landry Fields done. Wes Matthews, Jimmy Butler, who I think that is going to obviously get more playing time next year. These guys are very important to a team, and you get them inexpensively. Those are sometimes the gel guys.
Well, Ryan, really appreciate you taking the time, and the expertise is something that is always valued very much here. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
Holler anytime. I appreciate it.
You know it. And remember to get all your information on the Knicks and the NBA draft. Check out thenixblog.com, part of the SNY.TV blog network. I'm Tommy D. We'll see you next time.